Hello and welcome to my third YouTube video. My name is Tros, my pronouns are she, her, and I'm really excited today to be building with you, and I'm building in Copperdale today, which is the world that came with the High School Years expansion pack. I'm going to be using base game High School Years and pairing it with the brand new Pastel pop kit, which I'm so excited to see. I loved how the EA have collaborated with Plumbella on this kit. I love that it's Advent Basic style. It's a style that I see a lot online and I've always been drawn to. So to now be able to build with it in The Sims is such a fun concept to me that it inspired me to do an entire build based off of it. I am going to be making this a micro build today. It's going to have a starter budget and I'm really excited to get going. Here I am using some curved walls as well. I wanted to add in those natural curves and different shapes within the build to give it some interest. Obviously with the High School Years we've got a lot of Art Deco styles, and I really wanted to include that and make sure you could tell that the build was pastel-y even from the outside, because the inside I really wanted to go really colourful, really bright and fun, and really go out and really use the new pastel pop kit. It's quite a little bit out of my comfort zone. I'd really like using a neutral colour palette and then adding in pops of colour now and then, which we could definitely do using the pastel pop kit as well, but I really wanted to go for it today. Here I'm adding in some roofing. I wanted the roofing to be very modern and slick and unlike something I've done before. I wanted to add in that little window moment there as well, because I feel like that's quite typical of micro builds, to add in any sort of natural light that they can and make it look bigger by adding it in roofing details. I've also made the round bit of the roofing as flat as it almost can go, not quite as flat as possible, but just so it kind of ties in nicely with the Art Deco style. And looks good with the other roof as well. Here I am just adding in those windows from the high school pack. Again, I love these. I really like that pop of green at the bottom, that turquoisey green. It kind of looks very pastel-y as well, and bold and bright. Here I'm adding in a sort of fake porch area as well. That item above the door is base game, and the trellis that I'm adding in is from the high schools pack as well. The ivy on top of it is base game though. Inside I wanted to create a really open living space, to include as much of the colours and use lots of fun textures and things. So I wanted to create a little raised platform area for the main sleeping area to separate it from the kitchen floor, just because I feel like that would be cleaner. Here I'm adding in green everywhere naturally, but then adding in that peachy, colourful pattern on a couple of the walls just to give it some highlight. I love this new carpet. How fun is the texture on that new carpet? And I was thrilled that within the Advent Basic style, they use a lot of checkers and checkered tiles and things. And we actually have a few of those in base games. The tile that I've used on the kitchen section is actually a base game item, which is super fun, and they tie together really nicely, I think. So that's super fun. I've used that end table, which is also tiled, and wanted to make sure your Sims could watch TV from bed. So I've had it facing the bed, and now I'm just gonna clutter it. I really didn't like the back of the TV. I really don't want to see that. So I'm covering it with some base game artwork that is relatively cheap, but also it fits the pastel theme as much as we can too. I love that candle. How fun is that? I would be really nervous in real life to actually light that candle. I would really be concerned at what happens with that purple candle when it gets to the bottom there. But it's such a fun concept and such a statement piece. I think it's really, really fun and playful. Next we're moving around to the kitchen. So as you can see, I've got that checkered flooring. I want to make it as basic as possible, but I was super excited when I realised that there was actually some pastel coloured appliances, so I am using some of those here. There is a green swatch as well, but I felt as though the green didn't really match with the other pastel colours I'd used throughout the rest of the build, so opted for the pink in the end. Here I'm using that really cute tablet computer. I was thrilled when I saw this. Again, this is so cool to have in The Sims, and just brings a little more like a youthful element to the build. That neon is also from High School Years, and I thought it would be super fun to pair with this kit, just because the pastel pop and that kind of like neon signs, I don't know, something about it just really made sense to me. I'm adding in a bookshelf here, and I want to include as many sort of things that your Sims can do inside this space as possible, so I do add in a little music player. I'm also adding in lots of like detailed clutter bits. I love that vase with the flower in from the new Pastel Pop kit. I have already used that twice in this build. And I probably would have used it more if I could on other surfaces, but I decided not to, just to keep it quite simple. Here I'm adding in the rugs. I love the rugs as well, so fun. So many fun like textures and colours in this. I was really enjoying using it. Here I'm doing the bathroom. I want the bathroom to be cohesive with the kitchen but not be exactly the same. So I've put the checkers on the walls instead of the floor. I'm adding in that really fun mirror. Adding in the pink bath and the pink toilet. Again, these are base game items, so it can tie together really nicely with base game as well if you don't have many packs in your game. If you're looking for a cheap addition, kits are really good for that, if you like building especially. Here I'm adding in a shower curtain just to give it a little bit more detail. I'm also adding in this pastel-y sort of carpet, this little rug from the high school years, the pink pastel toothbrushes here, obviously some toilet roll. I will confess, I don't put toilet roll in every single one of my builds, especially if they are budgeted. That is probably the first item that goes if I run out of budget in my builds, which is really bad. But luckily the Sims don't mind, so that's okay. As long as the Sims don't mind, I don't mind. It is 50 simoleons for a toilet paper, can you believe? So that is me almost done with the inside. So I thought I'd start on doing some of the exterior here. Again, I really like my lots to blend in with the world around them and kind of look quite natural in their placement. As the build is so tiny, as it's such a micro build, I really wanted to make it look a little bit more commanding of space. So here I'm just sort of doing a very modern sort of straight path. I am using the grid for this. I know some people don't use the grid and that's a big flex, but if you can use it and it's there and it helps you draw straight lines, why not? Let's use it to our advantage. Here I am also looking for live edit objects just to add into the build to give it that kind of points of interest without costing any money, because again, budget. We actually had quite a lot of budget left over at this point, but I just wanted to play around with these items. I loved these like lawn circles, and I think the circles really go well with the build. It kind of reflects the roof on the other side being curved with the circles on that side. Something about it just seemed right to me. And this little plant box is so cute. I'm loving using this. This is also a live edit object from high school years. If you've not got any of your live edit objects in game, there are cheats for you to enable them to show up in your build buy. However, I do use the Twisted Mexi mod, and I'm sure you've heard me speak about this in every YouTube video so far, but it's really, really good and I can't recommend it enough. If you really like building and you really want your lots to look more natural with it in their setting, then using the live edit objects from the world itself is always one of my favourite things to do. So as you can see at the front there, I did extend those little bits of grass over the lot just to make it seem like it was growing in there. Here I'm using one of the pillars. I really love the pillars and all of the build by objects from the high school years. That Art Deco style is something that I really enjoy. It's not something that we have a lot around here in the UK, and it always seems quite Miami-ish to me, but in the best way, and I just love building with it. So here I actually remember the bin, which is good. I think of the mailbox and the bin towards the end, but because high school came with this bin, I kind of thought about it earlier. I always like to hide my bins as much as I can, so it's tucked around the corner from the front of the build. This is a base game table, which actually came with a really cute pink and white stripes, and I thought that was fun. I almost wish they had a checkered one as well, because that'd be so cool, and it would mix so well with the Pastel Pop kit. That was a good compromise, the stripes. I used the school tables, the school chairs with that table just to kind of blend those two packs together a little bit more. I would normally opt for going for the safe option, so going with the base game chairs with the base game table, but I think it's always fun to mix and match where you can, as long as the colours kind of look okay. Obviously matching swatches don't happen, but it's super fun to just play around with these things and see what works and what you like and what you don't think works. It's all part of the fun. Here I'm adding in some of my favourite things to do, so putting the terrain paint underneath some of the plants, Notice that I don't do it underneath all of the plants, just because these ones at the front, which I've kind of pushed over the boundary there, obviously I can't get it exactly the same, so I will just leave it as it is, so it kind of looks a bit more like EA meant for that plant to be there in the world. Here I'm just adding in a cute little bench over here as well, which has got that pastel colour, just because I thought it'd be cute to just have a sit down under a tree, maybe read a book or something if they're being a bit too loud inside one day, that kind of thing. I also do remember the mailbox. The amount of times I've uploaded builds to the gallery without a mailbox, and maybe seen a tour, or maybe put them back into another save file and noticed the mailbox in the hallway, is always such a painful realisation, isn't it? But luckily I do remember it in this one, so that's good. Have you ever built in The Sims and forgotten the mailbox? Let me know in the comments. It's always so awkward, isn't it? But everyone does it, and don't worry if you ever do. I'm just going to do the finishing touches inside, because as you can see, the carpet disappeared there from the curved bits, which I thought was really bizarre. I just added in a few more platter details from the high school years, and I absolutely loved using this pastel pop kit. Let me know in the comments, did you get the pastel pop kit, or are you more of a big fan of the everyday clutter? I like the everyday clutter as well, but as I said earlier, the pastel pop kit just really inspired me to build, which I love about the game. Thank you so much again for watching the YouTube video. If you would like to leave a like on the video, that would be amazing. If you want to leave a comment to say if you got one of the new kits, what you think, what was your favourite item from the pastel pop kit, let me know. And thank you so much again for watching the video. Here's a few shots of the build in playtesting, the sim using the build, what it looks like inside. Thank you so much again. And if you want to subscribe as well for another YouTube speed build next week, then please feel free. Thank you so much. Toodle pip.